Welcome to part 4 of the system preferences for your MacBook. We're going to pick up by looking at users and groups. Your users and groups will allow you to do things like change your password, allow you to have your login options. So notice I can change these, but in order to do that I have to click unlock to make changes. Once I click unlock, it will ask for my password. I can put that in and then I can change these options for each login. Your login items, these are the things that say they can open automatically when I log in. If I wanted to change one of these, I could. If I wanted to add one, that I could. So that's under your users and groups, and it will tell you who the users are on your MacBook. The next one we're going to go to is going to be your App Store. When you click on the App Store, your options, it'll tell you can automatically check for updates. It has these other automatic checks. It'll tell you the last check that it had and your password settings. So when you are logged into the App Store on your Mac, it is going to have purchases and in-app purchases, free downloads. When you log into your MacBook and you sign in, if it automatically does not pull your account in, you can go to the App Store and you will sign in the App Store so that you are signed into the App Store. iCloud is going to work a little bit differently, which we will look at in a separate video. Dictation and speech are going to allow you to dictate to your Mac so that it will pick up. Notice the Snowball mic is picking up my voice. I have dictation turned on, and so if I go and press the function key twice, it will actually engage dictation. I can change this so that I can press the right command key twice, press the left command key, or I can customize it. So whenever I'm working in an application, if I want to engage dictation, I will know for my MacBook that I press the function key twice. When I do that, it will begin to pick up dictation for the document. Text to speech is where it allows me to highlight or choose a text and it will speak it back to me, exactly the same as it does on the iPad, but these are different ways of accessing that. So I can change the voice, I can change the rate, I can play it to see a sample, I can speak selected text. When the key is pressed, the current key is Option S, so that's how I can choose that. I can change the shortcut to that. So you'll see that you have different things. One other thing to keep in mind is if this matters to you, VoiceOver, you can do the same thing on your iPad where it will tell you what you have clicked on and then you have to double click and engage with that. So your dictation and speech is available, and again, it is something that you may want to use, you may need to use with a specific student that may be operating on your MacBook. Date and time is next, and there aren't a whole lot of things in date and time, but you can change the date here, the time. You can change the time zone if you would need to. Typically it's set automatically, but sometimes for whatever reason it may get caught in a different location. And finally, your clock. You can show your date and time in the menu bar, which would be up in the upper right. You can change that to analog, show AM. So you have different things that you can choose with the date and time, strictly based on your preference as you would like that to be. I want to point out Time Machine to you very quickly, because Time Machine is where you can back up your MacBook. Notice, my latest backup was June 2nd, 2015. My next backup will occur when I connect the disk. Now, I had purchased this Toshiba external hard drive so that I could back up my entire MacBook. When you back up your entire MacBook, that will allow you to restore from a backup if you ever would have your MacBook crash for some reason or something drastic happens and they have to give you a new one. You can actually back up and then restore your entire thing. The exact same thing happens on your iPad when you do a backup of the iPad, but instead of your MacBook using iCloud and trying to do a full backup to iCloud, which could be possible, it's just best if you can to grab an external hard drive that has enough space. One thing to keep in mind with an external hard drive for your Mac, it has a different formatting than an external hard drive for a PC. So if you are purchasing one or someone gives you one or you're interested in one, make sure it is Mac compatible. And if you have one that you are running on your PC currently and then you put it into your Mac, it will probably prompt you to reformat the external hard drive because it looks at it differently and it understands it differently. There may be some out there that will read both, but you probably are going to pay significantly more if that's available and if it's even an option. But if you do want to back up your MacBook, Time Machine is the option, and notice you can show it in the menu bar, which I have right here. So if I click the Time Machine, I could back it up now if I had my external hard drive connected, which I do not currently have that connected. And finally, the last thing we'll look at is accessibility. If there's something that you would need to change based on an accessibility feature that you would like to use on your MacBook, they are all right here. So notice I can invert the colors on my Mac if I would need to do that. I could use grayscale. So I can really pin this down to what works best for me, for my eyesight, for my usage. Zoom is also on here, and it shows you keyboard shortcuts to zoom. Now these do get a little bit more complex if you need them to, and you do have to touch multiple keys to shortcut to them. But once you get used to using them, they are a great feature, especially in the classroom, especially when you're displaying on the screen and you need to zoom in something specifically for the students. Notice use scroll gesture with modifier key. So you would want to practice with that before you set yourself loose in front of the classroom. You do have voiceover, you have media options, you have captions, you have hearing, you have interactions, so you can really change some of your accessibility. Notice dictation is also here, and it has my dictation commands, but the dictation itself can also be found under its own category. I can show accessibility status in the menu bar, which is going to put this circle with the person inside of it if I would like to do that, so that I can shortcut those things and have faster access to them. Thank you for joining us for part 4. We'll have one more video covering the iCloud and internet accounts in your system preferences.